All right. Good morning. Welcome to our Tai Chi, Qigong, and Internal Arts class for this Wednesday morning. We are continuing to work on bits and pieces from our 7-star boxing, as well as blending and working on some of the Tai Chi techniques from the Beijing form, and hopefully getting into some work on punch downwards from the 108, but we seem to be using up a lot of our time working on 7-star boxing right now. Okay, let's get started up here. We'll get the feet in the ground, tongue to the roof of the mouth, and just gently inhale, looking up. Nice deep breath in and down. Again, we're going to inhale and rise, and exhale to settle. One more time, rising up and down. Good, and looking from side to side. And we'll go ear to one shoulder and hang, and to the other. Again, to the first side, and the second. Let the head roll, just in gentle half circles. And then keeping the jaw closed, we'll take the chin up and around. And then same the other way. Okay, let's go into the shoulders. So shoulders forward and up, and back and down, and again. And one more time. And then we'll reverse. We'll come up the back, around and down in the front. And one last time. Okay, into the arms. We're going to cross the arms, rise up, out to the sides and down. And again. And one last time. And then we'll reverse. We'll head the other way, out, around and down. Okay, we're going to reach up, hang to one side, and up and over to the other. One more time on the first side. And the second. We're then going to let the arms rise up over the head. We're going to twist and settle. And rise. And then we'll reverse. We'll head the other way. And one more time. Okay, let's let those arms go loose and wrap around the body. And then let's go to our shoulder stretches. So we'll cradle and pull. And same on the other side. And then over the head and pull. And same on the other arm. And then behind the back and pull. And same on the other side. All right, then our palms are going to face up. Our palms face up and over, down. one more pass before we shake out those arms a bit. And let's warm up the hips. So I get some hip rotations one way. And around the other. One more time the first way. And the second. Yeah, that heel goes to the ground and working on that range of turning in and out. And same on the other, same with the toe down, heel in and out. And then on the other side, heel down and toe in and out. And then toe down and heel. Okay, get that balance going for the morning and range for the hip. So we turn in, lift up, turn out and down. Last time. And we'll go to the other side, in and out. One more. From the outside to the inside. So turning out, lifting up, turning in, coming across. Last one. And then same on the other side, out to in. And one more time. Good. And last little while we've been working on glute strength and just learning how to activate the glutes by kicking out to the back corner. Trying not to lean to counter, but trying to use the glute to lift. Doesn't have to go very far, but out diagonally. And same on the other side. Good. And then we'll head to the knees. So feet together, knees can roll one way. And knees around the other. One more time, the first way. And the second. Now we're going to stretch down. We're going to hang down towards the ground. Before we roll and come back up. Okay, shaking out the legs. Let's get ourselves working into our Qigong. So feet at shoulder width, starting out with movement number 2 from the 20 Qigong. We're going to spiral the palms out and away. We're going to expand and rise, lifting up nice and high. Deep breath in, and then everything releases. Ankles, knees, hips, we're settling into the ground a little. And then we're going to turn, we're going to open and rise. Nice deep breath in. And then we'll settle. So we have the feeling of the ground supporting the rising of the arms. And then focusing on ground as we come back down. So releasing tension, settling through the frame, down into the feet. Open and rise. And then settle. Let's do that one more time. So turn, it will rise up. And we'll press back down. Okay, we've been working on, also from the 20 Qigong, opening, raising, lifting, pressing up on one side while hooking in and stretching behind the back on the other, and then settling and rising up. So again, nice deep breath in, getting a sense of palm and bottom of foot pressing away from one another, and then drop the rib cage, and then open the ribs, press up through that rib cage, and hook in for the shoulder behind the back. Press and tuck. And let's do one more on each side this morning. Okay, let that come back down. All right, we've been doing some calf, quad strengthening as well as range of motion in the toes. Everybody's been loving going back to these heel lifts. So we're going heel lift on one side. We're trying to stay squatted, and we're lifting one side, other side. Try and come up as much as you can. Think of it not only as a strengthening exercise, but a range of motion in that ball of the foot. So we're squatting and rising. The more work you want, the more you kind of squat in. Okay, we're gonna do 10 more. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Yeah. And shake it out a little bit. Oh, good morning, legs. Okay, let's also continue to wake up those legs with rotation. So now we're going to get that heel lift, but we're going to think about pushing and thrusting as we turn on the ball of the foot. So this is our opening from parts of our openings of the 7-star boxing. We're going to lift, we're going to turn in, we're going to settle the heel, we're going to shift, we're going to turn in. So we go one side and the other. So not just shifting, but getting a sense of a spiraling thrust down and through the ball of the foot while catching and settling in the other side. So we turn from side to side, and then let's add the arms. So we're going to reach, come across, and reach. Good. Then let's do one more on each side. So we'll reach across and then back on the other side. Good. And we can shake it out a little bit. Okay, so let's start into the first of our movements that we're working on from the 7-star boxing this month, and that is our forward bends and back bends. So we're going to cross the arms. We're going to push out in the front. We're going to squeeze back with the shoulder blades, and then bring the fists to the hips while trying to keep the chest open and the shoulder blades engaged. Then we're going to release that to hollow. Fists cross, we open. And again, We're going to squeeze the shoulder blades, but as we start to bring the hands to the backs of the legs, we're going to rest and do our forward bend while using the arms like vines around the backs of the legs. And then coming up from the ground, we'll open up the hands as we rise up. We'll cross the wrists again. We're going to push out in the front. We're going to, again, almost like we're going to clap those hands, but now we're going to scoop through and think collarbones down, but chest and sternum, throat, they're all going to rise up. And then we'll settle. We'll reach out wide and down in the front. So 1 and 2, opening up, squeezing, scooping through, hollowing, pulling open again, shoulder blades engage. Now hollow the chest a little and round down towards the floor. And rolling up from the floor, opening the hands, crossing the wrists, pressing out, squeezing back, touching on the backs of the legs and getting our backwards bend. And then come out the sides and down in the front. We'll do that sequence again. So 1, 2, opening up, squeeze back and scoop through, pulling open, reaching for the legs and stretching down. And rolling up, crossing, pressing out, reach for the backs of the legs and arching up. And then settle, nice and wide, and down. And we'll shake it out a little. Okay, second piece that we're going to work on today from the 7-star boxing is our squats and pillar between heaven and earth. So I'm going to start out with the feet a little wider than shoulder width. This first movement's a little bit like doing a crunch, where you're thinking of kind of condensing in the front of the body, pulling up through the lower abdominal, and bringing the arms and everything in towards one another. Then we release that, and we think about rooting down into the ground. Now we get a bit of flow. We're going to come up through the spine. We're going to open out to the sides. And then the fun begins. We hinge backwards and squatting downwards. Then we're going to pick up from the ground, turn over the hands on our way up, press up nice and high, and rise up onto the balls of the feet. And then settle, sink, come back down. So we're going to go gather and down, out, and hinge, up, and under, and open, and rise, settle to come back down. Again, 1 and 2. Billow up, hinge down. Don't have to go super low. Take it to something that works for your body. And then rising up, pressing up high. And then settling. One last one for today. Draw. And settle. Up, out, down. Picking up from the ground. Turn it over, pressing up high, right up onto the balls of the feet. And then let it settle. Okay, so the third piece from the 7-star boxing that we're working on this month is the dragon coiling section. And we've kind of been breaking it down and working on different parts and different sections of it as we put together the whole section. Just give me a second, I've got some problems with my monitor here. I think that's good. Okay, so what we've been doing is we've been placing weight in one leg and just working on getting that nice rested squat, one leg squat with the top of the foot on the floor. So we're going to go step and squat. Come up, step out and behind. So we go 1 and then step behind. Let's do one more on each side. So we step. So we want to get a feel for what that feels like, being in this position, finding where the stable place is for the width and depth of your feet. Okay, and then we start to add the rotation. So the idea is that the foot that's behind is supposed to be the tail of the dragon, and we're going to rotate away from that tail, but also come back to it. So we're going to rotate around and look over the shoulder. Then we can come back out, step the other side, and rotate through. So this is where we're wanting to get to as we're working on twisting to get to this position later. This is the kind of feeling that we're looking for. A lot of stretching throughout the whole spine. Let's just do one more on the other side for now. So we'll twist. Okay. So one of the other things that we want to be able to do is we want to be able to get out of that stance by rotating. So we're going to want to get into it through a rotation, and we're going to want to come back out of it from a rotation. But let's work a little bit on rotating back out. So we're going to touch that toe down. To rotate out, we're going to go back to the ball of the foot, and we're going to try to pivot to come back out of it. So we can put a foot behind. There's that draped position of the tail. We go back to the ball of the foot. And then what we want to do is we want to rotate on the balls of our feet to come back to that forward position. One more time. So I go touch, ball of foot, and I want to twist on the balls of the feet. So we go touch, ball of foot, and twist, unwind. Now, at the same time as doing that, there's so much complexity in our 7-star boxing. We're also doing a side bend. So to do a good side bend, we go back to what I keep talking about as cross body work, where we want to have the opposite arm and leg kind of connected to one another. So if you think about trying to raise up your right hand, but do so by pushing from your left leg. So you kind of press the left leg in, and then you would think about coming over. So you've got this nice structure that you're leaning into. So same in the other direction. So you press out of the right leg and up into that left arm, and then you keep that right leg structured as you raise the rib cage and lean. So when we're doing this in the 7-star boxing, we have to figure out how to go from the twisted position here, and we've got everything turned. So as I put the heel down, I'm thinking about opposite arm and leg. So I've got my weight right now on my left, and I want to pivot on the ball of the foot, pushing that left leg in. That means I can adjust my right leg to find a good position, and then I can hang to the side, and then I would cross body and hang to the other side. So a lot of spinal movement going on in here. So let's try that going in the other direction. So we're crossing over. We had our twist. Don't have to get deep into it right now. Touch on that ball. And as you unwind, you want to think, okay, I'm pressing out of the opposite leg to the hand that's up so I can hang one way. Then as I droop, I put that focus in the other leg and I cross body up and droop to the other side. And then let that come down. Good. Okay, what other things do we have going on in this one? We've got 180-degree turns while doing our cloud hands work. So let's try a little bit of that just on its own for a moment. So we're going to go left hand is going to be on top, right hand on the bottom. We're going to turn in. We're going to weight the left leg, turn in with the right. We're opening up the hands. As we settle back into empty stance, the hands are starting to close. And as we pick up into crane stance, we have palm facing palm. Then we're going to squat, touch out on our diagonal, and come into a forward bow. To leave this, we're going to roll back. As we turn to do our inside turn, we get this hourglass stance in the middle where the arms are nice and open. As we shift into the left leg and we've got empty stance, notice how my foot's kind of tracking to the empty stance. And then as I move to crane, I'm lifting up and holding the ball. Then I settle, weights in the back leg, and then I roll forward into holding the ball. So let's try that a couple times each side. So as I roll back, not only am I rolling back, I'm expanding into those arms. As I turn in, I'm kind of in my widest position with the arms. As I start to shift the weight into the right leg, I'm closing the arms, drawing the foot in. As I pick the foot up to crane, I've completed holding the ball. And then I step out and square up, holding the ball. Then we come back, we're opening. We're starting to close as we come into empty stance. We hold the ball when we get to crane. Then we step and we come forward. We'll do one more on each side. So roll back, open, turn in. Gather, close the arms and crane. And then step and present. Then we roll back, turn in, gather into empty, and hold the ball and crane. And then we step out. Okay, so let's start now with that right foot forward, holding the ball in forward stance. And let's try to twist in and out of the dragon. So As we roll back now, we're going to open up those arms. We're not going to open them up high and low in the same way. We're going to start to spiral. We turn in. We're going to lift up the foot. We're going to touch down the heel. Now remember what that feeling was of that hook stance. So I create that hook stance that we were working on, and then I twist and look over the shoulder. Then we were spiraling out of this. We're dropping the left arm. We're putting the ball, the foot down. We're pivoting, adjusting, and leaning to one side, and then leaning to the other side. Let's try that with the left leg forward. So we've got our left leg forward. We're holding the ball with left arm low. So we start to roll back. As we roll back, those arms are starting to spread out. I talk about sort of a scarecrow position here, which doesn't really fully exist, but it's a good way to kind of think about coming into this position. So I turn in, I lift up to my crane, I turn out, and I pivot on the ball and the heel till I create that position we started with, and look over the shoulder. And then we unwind, we come around and hang to the right side, and we come around and we hang to the left side, and then we're settling the arms back down. Good. Okay, shall we put the whole section together once before we move on to doing some of our Tai Chi work? Here we go. So we're going to start out with the feet at shoulder width, and we go reach with the right arm, reach with the left arm. Come over, turn in. Here's where we're holding the ball over the crane leg, and then we step. We roll back, opening the arms, turn in, gather to hold the ball, and step. Now we're heading into the dragon. So we roll back, turn in, lift up. We keep turning. We're just turning till we get into our stretch. And then we unwind. Roll on the balls of the feet, leaning to the left and leaning to the right, and then rising to settle. And then section B of this, we roll 1 and 2 again. We're reaching over. Here we are, crane the ball over the left leg in crane. And then we step out with that left leg to present. Now we're going to head right into the dragon. So we turn inwards with the left foot, weight the left foot, turn outwards with the right foot, keep turning till we're looking over the shoulder. Then drop that right shoulder, pivot on the balls of your feet, hang to the right, and hang to the left. And then settle back down. And we'll shake it out. Okay, we're going to leave two dragons in the caves today because we weren't going to spend some of our time with our Tai Chi instead. Or not instead, because we need to spend some time with our Tai Chi today. So let's go to our flowing drill in the stationary stance where we're going flying diagonal, brush knee step, and into fermé at the shuttle. So we're kind of creating a little mini set here. So we're going to start out, roll back, and then come forward, flying diagonal. Roll back, cover, gather, and brush knee step. Then roll back, spiral, and fair maiden at the shuttles. Roll back to hold the ball. Come forward, flying diagonal. Roll back, deflect, gather, brush knee and step as you come forward. Now roll back, spiral, and fair maiden at the shuttle. Couple more times. Roll, gather, flying diagonal. Nice opportunity to kind of work on flow without having to think about changing the feet. Gather for brush knee, spiral, and fair maiden at shuttles. Last time on this side. Shift back and come forward, flying diagonal. Roll back, deflect, gather, come forward, brush knee and palm. Roll back, spiral, and fair maiden at the shuttles. Okay, let's get fancy here in our turnaround. So we're going to go cloud, hands, turn around. And now we'll work it on the other side. Step out, flying diagonal. Roll back to brush knees. You come forward. Gather. And fair maiden at shuttles. Good. Flying, roll back to hold the ball. Come forward, flying diagonal. Roll back, deflect, gather. Come forward with brush knee. Spiral as you roll back and gather. Come in with fair maiden at the shuttle. So back to the beginning. 1 and 2. Good. Come back and forward. Good. Spiral. Gather. And fair maiden at the shuttles. Couple more. Roll back. And diagonal. Roll back. And fair maiden at the shuttle. Roll back, spiral. And fair maiden at the shuttles. Good. Okay, so let's take that flow exercise and let's see if we can adapt it to walking. So we're going to start out going 1, flying diagonal. Now we got to shift gears. We got to roll back and cover because we're coming forward with brush knee step. And then we're going to gather and come forward with fair maiden at the shuttle. So we're just kind of making our own mini set here. So we're going to roll back. We'll try it on the other side. So we'll gather up and flying diagonal, stepping through, covering, and brush knee step, spiraling to the hip as we step up, and fair maiden at the shuttles. Good. So it's just ways to kind of play with and work on techniques that we've done. But when we have to switch, instead of doing a 1, 2, 3 of the same technique, we have to kind of really get our brain wrapped around the idea of the yi. So you almost want to start to think about what it's going to feel like to transition to the next posture before you do it. So let's do that sequence one more time. So we're going to do 6 steps. We're going to go gather up and flying diagonal 1. So now you're rolling back and you're starting to think, okay, how do I create brush knee step? I need to come around with that rear arm as it becomes my front arm as we're stepping through. And then I've got my brush knee step. Here you're like, okay, as I roll back to set up the foot, I want to start to think about how I'm going to set up that spiraling for my fair maid at the shuttles. And then we do the sequence on the other side. So, okay, it's got to be flying diagonal. So I'm going to have to drop that lead arm to gather up to hold the ball. And then I'm going to step through, flying diagonal. And now I'm changing. I've got to change gears and go to the covering for brush knee step. And then I've got to change to get my fair maid at the shuttles. Nice. And we'll come on up from there. Okay, let's finish off today with another sort of mini sequence that gets done in the stationary stance work, and it's actually right out of our Beijing form. This is our grass bird's tail section. So we're going to start out gathering up and stepping out to Peng. We're coming underneath. We're catching. We're rolling diagonally off to the side. We're going to lift up. And we're going to press through for G. And then we're going to part and roll back and open and come in with on. Then we're going to do our cloud hands turn. 1 and 2. And we're going to come in with Peng. We're going to come under, roll off and down, lift and press, and then part and push. We're going to go cloud hands, turn in, open up, gather, hold the ball, come through with Peng, underneath, catch, roll, redirect, and press, part, and push. 1 and 2, and Peng, under, down, and press, part, and push. Okay, let's leave it there for today. Shoulders can go back. A lot of work today. Shoulders can go forward. Shake out those legs. Let's finish with a bit of a stretch down to each leg. So feet a little wider than shoulder width. We're going to pull up in the middle. We're going to turn and we'll stretch down to one side. And then draw up. And we'll stretch down to the other side. Releasing, letting go of the head, pressing out of the ground, up through the leg. And come up. And then we press down with our hands down both legs. And we'll walk the legs in. And chi release can come up, down, and away. And we'll let it settle in the front. Great, thanks for training hard today. If you got any questions, let's take those now, or text or email me. And we will see you all for some more Tai Chi next week, or maybe for some Gong Fu in a little while this morning. Thanks for training.